And maybe Ben can start.
Thank you. Good morning. I have an article that many of you have read, because I have read your article and you mentioned it, but I think you should improve your references, because you mentioned the title but not the author. And if ILO presents that as a publication, that will not pass. But the thing is, the title is this: Social Solidarity Economy in Asia, South-South and Triangular Cooperation Perspective. Now, it compiles all the case studies, almost all the case studies that Asian Solidarity Economic Council did since 2007 in Asia. When we organize a forum, we always have case studies. And number two, the main point is this, that social solidarity economy can be promoted through SSTC. So from that perspective, SSTC is a means of promoting SSE. That is one point that this publication does. The second point is this: SSTC can be promoted at the public policy level by using SSE as a means of achieving social development goals. So these are the two main points that this article is pointing out. And it is very, very important because, you see, SSE is an alternative development model. And so the best way to promote it is via SSTC. Now, SSTC is not only government to government. It can be CSO to CSO. Secondly, the importance of SDG, as mentioned in our session yesterday, is already throughout the world and accepted by the governments. The only thing that we need to emphasize is that the world today needs an alternative economy. And that alternative is SSE. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Less than 2 minutes, huh?
I'm Annie. I had also written an article for this process. What I had written is about the Dalit rights issues. So very briefly, to talk about Dalit rights issues, Dalits are a community in India and also other Asian countries who have been for generations discriminated and excluded from the larger society. So which means that they had obligatory occupations. They were not free to take up any occupation, but they had obligatory occupations which are usually very poorly paid, discriminated and also stigmatized, like cleaning, leather work, manual scavenging. So one thing that we realized in this is more a civil society initiative. What we realized is, like, in addition to South Asia, many other countries also have similar communities. Not necessarily called caste or not necessarily called something else, but similarly where communities are obliged to do certain types of work and not allowed to really move forward. So this is a background of the community, and with the independence we've had liberative legislations which have allowed the community to get into education and other things, but the social norms have not changed much. So it's a challenge of addressing the social norms. So where I would sort of look at is, in the South-South solidarity there has been a lot of effort, because these have been very much there in the other South Asian countries like Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. So this is very prevalent. So the civil society from these countries had come together to form a forum. And there is a forum called in every country there are forums. There is also an Asia Dalit Rights Forum. And another effort has been to engage the parliamentarians of this country. So there is also a parliamentary forum on Dalit concerns. So there has been South-South engagement quite a bit. But where a big gap I would see is we have not come into economic dimension yet. We are very much into the social dimension still. So I think this, and mean, I came to this workshop also to see how the economic dimensions can actually be brought in. I think I've gone over my time, sorry.
No, it's fine. No, don't worry. I don't
I
know
heard
which is ringing. What is ringing here? No.
We have to,
Yeah?
sorry.
Oh, come on.
But
So
you can
our
come back.
timekeeper.
Yeah, but you can always come back after.
I know.
Timekeeper.
Yeah, you come
So-
back.
And I think he enjoys this little bit. So, please.
Okay, so
Okay, I'm Rufus Kamran from Pakistan. I have written an article, and my experience is the South and regional cooperation in the field of solidarity economy and enhanced economic productivity and income generation. In short, I would like to say that I would like to share my experience that we have formed self-help groups, the women groups and mixed groups, and they have a wonderful dress. So my experience is that if we work on these lines, we can have in solid the results of solidarity economy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, thanks. You were short, he didn't even beep.
by the way, you have empty cities, so that the people they can start moving to the center also.
Yeah. Whenever you see an empty seat, please feel free to come and take it out. Don't be shy.
Informality.
Yeah, the reply to your question and also question from the moderator about the articles also concerning the informality. I wrote a book about organizing the informal workers as a catastrophe in the informal economy, which mainly elaborating the importance of organizing informal workers to provide a decent work to informal workers. The decent work concept, as you know, it has 4 key elements: providing the social security, protecting the labor standard, and promoting social dialogue, and providing the decent work and productive employment. I'm very thankful for you to bring the element, the linkage between the informal economy and the social and solidarity economy, because the large majority of workers in Asia is in the informal economy, whose rights is deprived, who do not get the labor rights, who do not get the social protection. So social and solidarity economy has to focus on informal workers and providing rights, social protection, and also the access to the opportunity to education and training, right? And then from union point of view, organizing is entry point to provide that kind of the opportunity, access to the education, training, networking them, and voicing out their concern and interest. And then I have to introduce the ILO. ILO has done enormous work on the informal economy to transit them from informal to the formal economy. In 2015, ILO International Labour Conference adopted the ILO recommendation concerning the transition from informal to the formal economy, which provides a set of the policy recommendation to help out the top applications to transit to the informal economy to formal economy. Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay. I am Sudhir Satpathy from KIIT University, Bhubaneswar. I am heading a school of public health there. I have written the article on the smart cities. Bhubaneswar is one of the, in fact, the first smart city to be declared by Government of India as smart city. And in that smart city, it is envisaged that there will be encouragement for social enterprising, there will be encouragement for community organization, and also there will be employment opportunities created in these smart cities. So I have added one thing is that it is not only smart city, but it should be smart and healthy city. The main purpose of writing this article is to bring in this SSE and also thereby the SSTC to play a role in these smart cities. So Bhubaneswar could be an example where such collaboration can start up. So my idea was writing of this is to bring in the local government and also the civil society, academia, SSTC and SSC all together. So that was my purpose. And I am going to work more on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, I'm Gracia. I'm from Tanzania and I'm a PhD student in Yonsei University. I didn't write article in ILO, but I write one article on social entrepreneurship and sustainable community development. And there is no debate that social solidarity economy enhances sustainable development through social value, environmental value, and economic value. That is agreeable, but I have questions to some of the presenters who have just presented regarding to South-South Triangular Trade Cooperation about how, for example, representative from ILO, you have presented about trade unions, but yes, it might be work in that way, but do you have any monitoring tools to monitor the implementation in the country level or in cross-national level? Because I'm also interested in migrant worker and their social protection. It's really, until currently, as far as I have data, it's not really transferable, their social protection from one country to another. And the trade unions are existing, but most of workers, especially migrant workers, still their rights are not yet stabilized. And another question is about the mutual benefit on triangular trade, South-South cooperation. Given that there is the interaction between the donor countries, and as far as I know, the donor countries always use coercive power, which affect the policies in developing countries. So how autonomous the two peer groups are from the donor group? How autonomous are they? And another question is, sorry, and another thing is about the human rights-based approach in these three yeah, how triangular trade cooperation and the SSE based on the human-based approach, because I don't see the social citizen contract between the two things. Thank you.
I think it's better if somebody answers the question first, then I will speak.
If you want to have a comment, so okay to answer.
Yes, please.
ILO developed a decent work country program, which is an integral policy document operationalizing ILO work at the national level. That decent work country program has been signed between the ILO and the country top practitioners in each country. We don't have the decent work country program for all countries across the world, but we have a lot of program. So that decent work country program is also a monitoring tool about the implementation of the action taken at the national level. That is one. And now, since we are discussing about SDG goals, ILO decent work country program tried to link with the SDG goal indicators, how we can our ILO work and intervention in the framework of the decent work program can contribute to the achievement of the SDG goal. And very shortly, I list out your question about how we can support the domestic workers. Right? Actually, we were one who supported forming the Federation of Asian Domestic Workers in 2010. And then now is the Asian Domestic Worker Federation has about 48 affiliates across Asia, organizing about 400,000 workers, and then now they are aiming to increase up to 700,000 soon in a couple of years. So ILO is supporting you, especially through the campaigning of the ratifying ILO Convention 189, which is protecting the rights of the domestic workers. I think I have studied, I have something more to say, but thank you very much.
Can I have one minute, please?
Just to reply on a question on examples of South-South cooperation on social protection, I can mention two specific examples. One is on China that supported the creation of gender-sensitive indicators for social protection in Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, and other countries in the region. And also Algeria created a school for social protection and is providing scholarships for African government officials to participate in master's programs and other programs on social protection, implementation of social protection programs.
Thank you. So I wrote an article on the SSEOs and the South-South cooperation on the want, evolution, and foresight. And I brought the legal framework into the picture, but I want to widen the spectrum of this discussion, because in India, the classic example is the public goods are being supplied, and in the global context also by large corporations. Like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has been a classic case of investing in health, and it has been phenomenal in helping India in certain health sectors. So I wanted to open the spectrum and say the triangular cooperation, for me, when I look at it, does not have to be of a country thing, but these public goods have been being taken care of by big enterprises as well, which is, I think that it can be a cooperation sense where the South countries can actually work with an organization set up, which have big funds and big motivations to actually inculcate this in the near future. So, that was one. And the second part is when the triangular cooperations are happening, I think in the context, I feel that if there is a bilateral contract or a multilateral memorandum of understanding, I think between countries, this will facilitate things faster. If they have this, and this mode of working of countries in the South has been more helpful in the past, rather than inculcating the South-South enterprises and the notion of how these enterprises are working. And I think that notion is still missing, at least from an Indian context of solidarity and enterprise. And we try to see these organizations as civil society actors or NGOs or working in that area. So the differentiation of these enterprises has to be made relevant in the governmental context. I should stop there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Viraj, I'm from Sri Lanka. Actually, first of all, I would like to express my gratitude for everyone, because I'm learning here, because this is my first time that I'm learning social enterprises, social solidarity economy, this context. These concepts are new for me. So, but I just want to learn from you. In my country, actually, we are facing big problem these days, which is youth unemployment. It is increasing rapidly in my country. So I just want to know, how can I use this concept in order to reduce youth unemployment in my country? I'm from Sri Lanka. So I just want to know about that. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity for me. Because I'm not sophisticated, I'm learning from you.
No, excellent. Thank you.
I just want to learn.
Have you spoken already?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've spoken.
There-
I have one more question, but I will raise
Come in
it.
the center. Feel free to come in the center.
So, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Dayanand from India. I asked one question regarding the migrant workers. Many corporate sector established the company in the agriculture land. Due to the reason, the many agriculture rural poor people migrating, searching the job from the outside city. There is no labor standards there. So what kind of mechanism, what kind of system or what kind of project to protect the rights of the migrant workers by the ILO?
Excellent. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My article is there, so I'm not going to read what is there in the article, but basically it is on the home-based workers. As pointed out, the informal economy in not only in Asia but also in the world is 92%, and it is out of the purview of many of the legislation and frameworks. So the new trend is that how to protect the informal economy, and as pointed out by Mr. Am, there are some initiatives being taken by ILO how to protect the informal workers through their decent work agenda. And the initiative narrated in the article is based on the actual experience that we had in Pakistan, my country. I'm coming from Pakistan, where we adopted the SST and SSE model and learnings from peer group learning from not only from South Asia but from Latin America. The whole concept of membership-based organizations, how to organize the informal workers, home-based workers in Pakistan was replicated in a support system through Homeland South Asia, and it was across South Asia, not only in Pakistan but in Nepal, in Sri Lanka, in Bangladesh, and in India also. So the first very model of how to organize home-based workers came from Latin America, and that was a membership-based organization. So that was piloted by ILO in Pakistan in 2008 and 9, and after that it was like it had a ripple effect, and all our member organizations, they adopted, we trained them, we educated them, and they adopted this organizing model. And now we have cooperatives of home-based workers, we have associations of home-based workers, we have unions of home-based workers in Pakistan. So this is how it is going on. And that strategy has been adopted for organizing the domestic workers in Pakistan also. So keeping in view the experiences that we had, we strategized accordingly to organize the other important informal sectors. So that is one of the main tracks of the article. But I have two or three more important things to point out. The thing is that the ILO operations are around tripartite mechanisms and workers, government, and employees federations. It does not include tripartite plus. And over the years, what I have observed is that the tripartite plus mechanism has worked out in the countries like Pakistan. So I would like to discuss this more with the ILO team here, how to involve the tripartite plus mechanism in support of SST and SSE, which I see as a positive point for multilateral support in countries like, in promoting relations in countries like Pakistan and India, where we can learn from each other. Thank you, I stop here.
Good day, my name is Elizabeth Ndwe from South Africa. I also wrote an article on SSCSC. But, okay, my article was giving examples of South African context, of which is it's a bit interesting because South Africa, as compared to other African countries, it's seen as if it's developed, and also it's still developing. I gave a lot of programs, examples of programs which we are implementing in my country, but I'd like to highlight one program, which is the Switch Africa Green Program, which we received funding from the European Union to help
the local government and the local SMMEs into forming cooperatives and in order to fight poverty. So yeah, I will just highlight that one program, but there's many programs which I've included in the article, which give examples of where South Africa is seen as a receiving of funds for assistance, and when it provides funding to other countries that they may need assistance.
Good afternoon, my name is Rashid, I am from Pakistan. I am studying here, we are studying here in Yonsei University. It's my first time that I have taken this course, Social Economy and Community Development. So, I was wondering about when we went through this course, that it was my first time that I learned about this course. Before I didn't know what is social economy and what is its conceptualization. So I think in Pakistan, maybe Umilana know very well, the policy framework, we have a lack of policy framework regarding social economy in our Pakistan. Because we have like UNDP, those programs, they are top to low approach is being used, but we lack the bottom up approach. So in this regard, the policy framework, we lack policy framework at the central level, government level, and as well as the provincial and the local level. Another point that I have observed is the conceptualization of the SSE. Even at basic level, those NGOs who are working, they don't know about this approach, and they just get funds from the international organizations, and they implement those projects according to their policies. But what is needed from the people and what they require, the participatory approach is not being used. So I think the concept of this SSE is spreading this awareness among the local NGOs and people, and is the responsibility of the academia to do in this regard. And that's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Hi, I am John from the Philippines. So I guess I just wanted to talk about your question about youth unemployment. In the Philippines, what we're trying to do is we're trying to promote entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship as a profession. So it's like if you have doctors, lawyers, engineers, then you have social entrepreneurs. And I think we are, because I belong to a private organization, by an academy for social entrepreneurship, we are working with farming communities, we are working with traditional weaving communities, and we are helping them to become more than just laborers, more than just weavers or farmers. We are sort of training them to become like entrepreneurial farmers or entrepreneurial weavers, so that they can help level up their profession. I'm just sort of sharing here. We created this master's program at one of our universities, Ateneo Graduate School of Business. We invited different entrepreneurs and community organizers from around the Philippines, and what we wanted to do was they have the informal knowledge of entrepreneurship and community organization, but we wanted to transfer some of the academic knowledge that was developed, at the academic level, to help systematize and professionalize what it is that they are doing, so that they can earn more income basically for their communities. That's it. I just wanted to share. And I think addressing the issue which was raised by Professor Duncan, which there is a gap between the academic theory and the what is actually happening on the ground. And I think that is one way of trying to address that gap, is that we invite the actual practitioners and give them the academic knowledge that they can utilize. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone, I'm Dorothy from Hong Kong. Actually, I'm from the social service field, so actually I'm from Thai Social Service, and actually I'm working a lot of NGOs in Hong Kong, but maybe their main working area is on charity. So I'm trying to get the SSE and also the SSC SSTC perspectives into my work. And I believe there is a need to have a common themes or common agenda so that we can draw the attention and forces in the society with the NGO and also the participation of the government at the public policy level. So I'm thinking if in Hong Kong, the context, the food is the common agenda that can gather the force. Why I'm saying that? I'll share with you two facts. One is actually there is like over 95 or 98% of food is imported from other places to Hong Kong. Actually, Hong Kong is not self-sustainable with it as we don't have the primary farming or primary production in Hong Kong. And also for the grassroots, for the people in poverty in Hong Kong, actually they are spending over 50 or to 60% of their monthly budget to buy food. So the unreliable source of food or the rise in price in food actually affect much to the people in Hong Kong. So and actually there are some food banks, some charity works in Hong Kong. They are concerning how to get rise the quality of life of the people by just giving food away. But all we know, for example, like the NGOs in our alliance we're working with, we know that it is not the sustainable way. So we're trying to get together and think about more sustainable projects. So in this part, the SSE come into place. And for example, like there are more projects besides food bank. People self-organize themselves. For example, like they hire the ladies going to the wet market, going to the supermarket to collect the food surplus. And actually they can use the food surplus to cook cheaper meals to the community. These work are very small in scale in Hong Kong. They started, but there are a number of these kind of projects arising in Hong Kong. But along this line, actually we need more knowledge, like the food safety, the legislation. Actually, we have a formal network in Hong Kong on this part of it. But I think only this part of the NGOs in Hong Kong are not enough. So there is, and we have an alliance in Asia, and to gather the food banks in Asia. And so we share knowledge on that level. But I'm so lucky to join this course, and I think we can draw a bigger picture because it will borrow the approach from the farm to the table approach. Actually, this kind of discussion, like why food price and how food price can be more stable, how can we get more safe food, or how we can get better and good security policies. This kind of discussion actually can be brought to the city, and with the sharing of more SSE stakeholders locally or in Asia and different places. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question. Do we have time for the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. My name is Dara from FAR Performing Social Enterprise, or FAR, the Cambodian Circus in Siem Reap, Cambodia. We perform every night contemporary circus. You're welcome to visit us in Cambodia. Now, FAR is an acronym from Human Patrimony of the Arts for the Refugees and Their Children. Because it was formed by the returning refugees using art to heal the whole nation. Now, I'm very happy to see this, to be in this session, because our founder's vision is really to share their experiences with refugee camps, with refugees around the world. So I have a question. I need experts to help walk me through how a South country collaboration may talk to each other, may find a project. How is there a platform where we can present this project to the triangular funder of country who might be interested to fund, to finance the project where the South-South initiative comes from? Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. there anybody else who wants to interact?
Perhaps let's finish the statement.
Yes, please.
Answer the question.
Yes.
Who's going to answer the question?
No, finish first, then we want
Okay. Sige. So my name is Val, I'm from the Philippines. So just a brief introduction or give you a short context of what's going on in our country. So I'm working for the government. Our agency is called Office of the Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process. So we are an attached agency of the Office of the President. So we are the government agency mandated to negotiate, integrate, and to implement the comprehensive peace process. So in our country, we have at least 5 rebel groups that we are negotiating with, we are dealing with. For the Bangsamoro, the Muslim groups in the southern part of our country, we are nearing coming up with an enabling law that will give them an autonomous region. So I think in relation to what we are discussing, the social and solidarity economy, we're actually working with the ILO Philippines. We have a project that promotes local economies through establishments of cooperatives. And we have varying results. Some are successful, some are not very successful. But I think one entry point or one prospect of the SSC in our country is, since we are in the process of coming up in enabling law, setting up policies, we have also proposed proposals to move for a federal form of government. I think now is the best time to introduce these concepts, SSC, so as we can better promote human development, peace and development, these concepts about food security, stabilizing security and on the ground. So I think this is a great opportunity, and we're looking forward to coordinating with other agencies as Sir Benjamin's group and other groups so as to further this agenda. We are also looking for opportunities from other groups. How can you include government to mainstream these concepts, SSE, because this is not really popular, this is not really mainstream, especially in the government, which is very crucial because we know that government is the policy-making body in a state. So I think we need to work on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any scope for one?
Of course, please.
Sorry, I am coming here again. The thing is, I want to project one. The first thing what I want to say is individuals also can change the situations.
I think you have a problem with the microphone.
Okay. What I want to say that individuals can also change the situations. Example I will give, the KIT University, that is the Kalinga Institute of Industrial Technology, University in Bhubaneswar, India. The founder of that university, Mr. Achyuta Samanta, he has set up one school called Kalinga Institute of Social Sciences. And that school is providing free education, residential, to 25,000 tribal children, indigenous tribal children, 25,000, stationed in one of that school. And then they are given education. The purpose is to empower them through education. And also, when they are coming out, they would like to, what has been observed, that these tribal children, they like to stay in their one locality. So for them, after education, that creating employment and also becoming social entrepreneurs for themselves is a big opportunity. So I want to ask and know from our facilitators here that how best we can utilize that opportunity to promote this SSE and also SSTC. Thank you.
Make an offer. You offer.
Excellent, thank you.
Hello everyone, I just want to make a quick announcement before we continue. Fascinating discussion. So, we have lunch right away and the time is a bit short because the restaurant closes at 2. It's the cafeteria really, across the street. So in the building we were in this morning, first floor, you go in and then down the stairs, there'll be, the coordinators leading the way so you can't get lost. And when you get to the door, you'll be given a ticket. And when you have the ticket, you can choose vegetarian, non-vegetarian. So make sure you choose. Think about it now. What do you want to eat? So, and then as soon as this ends, go right away, as quickly and orderly as possible, to the cafeteria. Thank you.
We still have like 5 minutes.
We are really on time. She's rushing us for nothing. Let's have 2 minutes, please. We're really on time.
I'm really sorry for postponing your lunch time. Actually, I didn't notice it's on time now. Anyway, thank you for your comments so far. I'm Luna from Asia Fair Trade Network, which is fair trading company in Korea. And I'm not expert or something on ILO. Anyway, some people ask about the specific example of SSE in subdimensional part. So I just want to explain briefly about the example how SSE is working on in private corporation. Actually, we are working with Prada Foundation, founded by Irish father in 1970 in Philippines. Still is working on. We are fair trading together with the mango and tropical fruit farmer cooperatives in Philippines, Mindanao and Olongapo, some overall part of Philippines. Actually, Prada Foundation is working for the minus girls and street boys who experience the human trafficking and some exploitation in Philippines, and they are gaining the income from fair trade and then support home for boys and home for girls. So I think it's a very great example how we co-work to sustain the, how can I say, civil rights and some minus people, the disadvantaged people. So actually everything is very right what you said, but what I want to focus on is how it's gonna be sustainable. So without any sustainable factor, even though it's donated or get funding, it's not gonna be sustainable, I think. So fair trade is, I think, good source to make something or make some community or organization sustained. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to answer the question from the participant from Cambodia, not only in the thing of refugees, but in everything, I think the UN system is a good entry to know what are the good practices from in the region and beyond, and also to address common challenges and common issues between countries so they can easily connect. And just to say something a bit more concrete, tomorrow we will have a group work, so it would be interesting if you can already think on what, from your perspective, what you could offer, what you would need from other countries, or specific proposals on creating networks and things like that, so that we can start making the match and having concrete initiatives that we can later see how we can support each other. So do we have any?
Excellent. No, excellent. Thank you, Christina. Really, she's giving us appetite for tomorrow's sessions, where we would do something unusual, but it's like a little bit dating to match experiences and maybe connect people for future work, and also looking for step forward regarding networking. So that's definitely what we'll try to do tomorrow, and present you also UN platforms, as she mentioned, which are very useful for connecting on common areas of concern. So now time for lunch. We have time. Let's go without rushing. We have time and see you tomorrow. Thank you.